PMG Radio. Respect your jaw.
Oh, I was about to say what? All right, man. Let's get into your man. We wasn't here since then, man. But let's get into JC's boy, JC's idol.
Why is JC looking all confused?
No, I really don't know
like
what the
you
fuck
don't
happened.
know. Like we haven't been here for
idol?
2 weeks.
Let's get into your man Kanye.
Oh, I didn't know what y'all was talking
Your
about.
man Kanye
No,
shook
'cause I
up
haven't
the.
been up here since Meek got
Oh
out
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
that's true.
Right,
You
we'll
have,
get
oh
it.
yeah. Oh, no, excuse us. He's got plenty boys now. Like,
Right.
We could be talking about anybody right
No,
now.
like Kanye is just,
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
just
Let's get into
shit.
your man, yeah.
Yeah, got plenty man.
Jay, what's going on with
out
your
there
man
in the world.
Kanye? What's up, man?
I've been told y'all Kanye was losing his mind. Like, I don't know what people. I don't know. He's crazy. Like, I don't know what y'all want me to say. Like,
All right, well, let's start with, the thing I think caught, most people's attention was the fact that he said, he believes slavery was an option. Now, I want to keep this in context, right?
Yeah.
From what I understood, and I played it back a bunch of times just to make sure I understood, because context is a big thing.
of course.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think
Context
people
is
take
everything.
things for face value without getting into the context of what's
Context
being
is
said.
You're getting so mature, Peso. This is crazy. Like I'm watching you mature right before my eyes. So seriously, I'm looking forward to your next sentence. Go on.
So
oh shit.
he said 400 years of slavery. That sounds like a choice. Now, in context, what he was saying, at a certain point, if none of you tried to band together and fight to get away from this, then you must have wanted this stay there. And he saying a lot of people were mentally enslaved at a certain point. He said at a certain point in slavery, we weren't physically enslaved no more. We were mentally enslaved. That's how they kept us there. I'm on the right track, or did I take anything else from it?
Nah,
No,
like
I mean, no,
go
ahead.
on.
No, go ahead.
No, please go.
No, I'm saying it's just when you say stuff like that, when you have that much of influence, you have to be really careful with how you say things.
Right.
Because people will take your words and either
Right.
use them against you or use them to further oppress people that are already oppressed. And
Right.
make it seem like, yeah, your people that you look up to are okay with it as well. Like they see our side of the story. Like, you know what I'm saying? It kind of like serves up as a justification almost. And it's dangerous. So,
Well,
and that's not true. Like what he's saying is just not like, I know, and I remember Kanye saying something about how he doesn't read and everything. So I could tell he doesn't read. Like I could tell he doesn't know the true history and the levels they went through to keep people enslaved. Like it wasn't like people were just enslaved and they were just chilling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is just it. Like if you're gonna say like, oh, slavery is a choice, if you're mentally enslaved and blah blah blah, and you want to expound on that, expound on it. But don't just say like,
I think that's where you messed up at, though.
That's
the
what
fact
I'm
that
saying.
he didn't
100%
expound on that.
Because
You
to be
understand
honest
what I'm
with
saying?
you,
Just say
to
stuff
be
like-
honest with you, I mean, maybe I'm crazy too. I'm even more Team Kanye than ever now. To be honest with you, his initial statement, that's what everybody's reacting to. Sometimes when it's shock value. Sometimes when somebody says something, you can't see past it when there's shock value. Like if he did not make that original statement and just went straight onto what his actual point was or what he actually meant, I think people would have received it better. But the fact that he made that statement, a lot of people can't get past that. Not everybody can get past that. Some people can get past it, like us, right? We can get past it and we can say, okay, he made this statement. What does he really mean?
Well, no.
What is he-
No. I'm on one hand, I agree,
Okay.
but on another hand, I am with JC on how dangerous the rhetoric is.
No, I mean, I'm with him
understand
too. No,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it was a very, how do I, you got to be careful when you're speaking to when you're addressing that many
think
people
before you
at a time. Yeah, like there's certain things that I might be able to say to somebody in private, and there's certain things I can say in public. Even if my meaning is the same, there's a way that you say things sometimes that makes you be able to get your message across a little bit better. And he was like, you know what I mean, in his interview with Charlemagne, he was like, I'm not media trained and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? You know, Kanye just says whatever, however, wherever. And I guess the repercussions now, to an extent, have maybe that's a lesson to him.
He flies
in a
off the
sense.
hip, but we're still dealing. This is why this one has struck such a nerve, because we're still dealing with the impact of slavery till this day. Like I don't think a lot of people of color understand the true meaning of what slavery was. Like nobody's telling the Jewish people to get over the Holocaust.
right.
You understand what I'm saying? Don't nobody tell nobody. They don't never hear that. But for some reason, people want us to act like slavery didn't happen.
Right. And that's the flip side of it. Like Kanye would have never said anything that insidious, like towards the Jewish community, because of the power they have. And that's why I think it's bullshit that he said it, because he knows black people at the end of the day, we have power, but he knows we're forgiving. He knows we'll be like, all right, we're mad, then we'll get over it, and y'all be my fans again. He knows that.
I get it.
So that's why I'm like, and I'm a Kanye, I fuck with Kanye, but I'm like, that's bullshit, and I'm gonna call him on his bullshit, and I'm not gonna support him if he's got to take these stances, because not only did he take that stand, he took the stand of supporting that Candace chick who's an idiot, who was talking about like
black on black crimes and sounding utterly
she speaks to nothing but white audiences that doesn't challenge her perspective.
It sounded utterly ridiculous on the matter, as if there are a ton of people like you, me, and this young lady here that talk about this all the time and are actually fighting for these changes.
So that's when he proceeded that statement with endorsing her. I was like, okay, he's an idiot.
Yeah,
and I was just done with him. I was like, all right, I'm good.
All right, let's dig a little deeper into the slavery is a choice thing, because I want people to understand this. You understand what I'm saying? We were brung to a country where we didn't even know the language. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I don't understand. Our tongues were literally cut out of our mouths so we couldn't communicate with each other. You feel me? They were killing us just to make examples of not to step too far to the left or too far to to the right when you were told to do something. So I don't think people understand how deep it goes, what we were oppressed against when we came here. And that's and I get so upset, and I'm getting bothered just thinking about it now, because it's deep, man. Like what the people went through for us to be here today, it's deep. And so you just can't spew that venom out your mouth as if the odds weren't against us from the beginning, as if it was just that simple.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Do you know what it is? I feel like there's different concepts that he's playing with right now, and they're kind of intermingling. Like, one of his main messages is that you can create your own reality. One of his main messages is that, you can create. The impossible can be achieved. You can put the whole thing with Donald Trump as well. I'm not even talking about the hat, but just listening to like a lot of these interviews, even when he did the TMZ run and when he did his interview with Charlemagne, the train of thought that Kanye seems to have always had, based on his music, just based on what he says, is about overcoming. He's always had that mentality of overcoming. Oh, you tell me I can't do this? Okay, well, let me show you. Oh, you say I can't do that? All right, well, this is what I'm going to do. So he's coming from that mentality. And I think that he's, again, I think that he's mixing up two different concepts. He's mixing up the whole point of free will and choice and creating your reality and choosing to love, because he's kind of trying to hit the reset button in a sense as well, because when he was on TMZ, he was just talking about, the fact that he feels like we should love and we should this and we should that. So that's the reason why I say I do kind of understand where he's coming from, as far as one train of thought is concerned.
Like, do you know I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Do you know the reason why slavery went on for so long? Because they were literally having us purposely breed just to create the next generation of slaves.
See, this is the thing. And what you just did is an example of why I feel like Kanye is a little bit, I don't know what to say without sounding super crazy, because it's like, I feel like he's ahead of his times in some ways. Because the thing is, I was just making a point about some of the positive things that he was saying. You went straight back to slavery, which is why this conversation is premature anyway. There's no point in having
sticks out, man.
Right. So that's the whole point. So he kind of defeated himself, because I feel like he has a bigger message, and I can actually hear his message.
Do you feel like slavery was a choice, both physically or mentally? Do you believe slavery was a choice?
Hell no. I mean, it was a choice. It was a choice of the people who sold the black people and it was a choice of the people who enslaved them.
Once we got here.
No, I don't think that slavery was a choice. But no. But let me finish. Let me finish. This is a thing, though, because at the end of the day, there's trickle-down effects of stuff. So slavery ended, but I feel like we're still seeing some of the effects of slavery in our communities. Okay, do you know what I'm trying to say? We're seeing a lot of the effects. So I think that this is what I'm getting from it. I think what he's trying to say is that regardless of what's happened and regardless of, I think he's trying to hit the reset button. And I know that's not something that can necessarily be done overnight, but I think he's trying to say, okay, this is the situation. We know what it is. Now that how do I explain this? He just wants us to hit the reset button and love and try and do something to actually show that we're trying to progress. He's saying that hate and being mad about it isn't necessarily the solution. And he's saying, okay, we don't like Trump, fair enough, but let's sit down and have a conversation with him.
I get that.
Converse with our enemies.
We're going to get to that in 1 second. Trust me, we got some shit to say about that.
So you want to go back to the slavery?
Yeah, we're going to get to that, though, because I heard that part, too.
Okay.
Slavery, a choice mentally or physically?
No.
Okay.
No, but everybody, this is the thing. Okay, it's like if I say to you, like, the sky is green, why you wouldn't get mad because you know that the sky is really blue. The thing about it is the statement that he made, everybody knows it wasn't a choice. So why can't...
I don't think he knows.
No, he
was
does.
He was dead serious.
He does. Oh, my gosh,
he was dead serious. What are you talking about, Eliza?
Did you watch his 2-hour interview with Charlamagne? Did you watch his rant with TMZ?
I listened to his statement he said on TMZ, and I read the tweets after where he tried to clean it up and did an even worse job at that.
He did do a worse job.
You know what? I'm gonna just leave this alone, and I think we'll discuss this in a few years' time.
And I hear you. I'm not trying to beat you off of your point. Don't get it twisted. You have a right to stand on your square.
Of course. The whole point I'm trying to make is at the end of the day, he made a statement that kind of defeated his whole purpose. Like, I really feel like if he did not make that original statement and went on to make some of the other points that he made, maybe we would be more willing to listen. But it's the fact that he made that statement is now everybody's just mad and so we can't even hear it. So it's like
as a black man.
Right. So that's why there's no point in anybody who really understands any part of what he's
Whose
saying.
Mother
There's no
fought for equal rights.
But listen, this is the whole thing. This is the thing. Listen, anybody who understands any of his points or until the dust settles, there's no point of us even having this conversation because everyone's still so mad that he made a statement. He made a statement that was obviously false. So to me, it's like me making the craziest statement and everybody gets mad at it, but you all know it's not a fact.
Right.
So the whole point I'm making is like, it's easy to push people's buttons, man. It's easy to trigger people, and that's what he's doing. And it's kind of scary to me because I could tell you something that's so fucking false, but your reaction to it, because you're so mad and you can't get past the fact that how dare you say that? I could have the best message ever. No, for real.
You could say Krispy Kreme has the best glazed donuts, and it is not going to start a whole argument. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no,
obviously,
Dunkin' Donuts has them. You fucking crazy. Like, no,
obviously,
when you're talking about something that's that
sensitive,
sensitive, and like JC said, you wouldn't say that about the Holocaust. Like, nobody tries to trivialize the Holocaust the way they do slavery, yo.
That's what I mean.
Nobody.
He thought about it. He thought about what he said. It wasn't like it was a heat of the moment thing, and he just said it. And then it's just like all his actions leading up to it. It was just insensitive.
Nah, the Holocaust, it wasn't that bad. Like, you don't never hear that shit.
Like, I don't know. When I first read, I laughed.
Again, I can't be. To me, it's hard for me to be. I mean, I can be shocked that you would say it, but I can't be hurt by it. Like, I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt by the statement. I'm just surprised that, wow, damn, you really said that. I'm not hurt by it because I know it's not real. It's like, I know it's not true. So it's like, how is everybody so hurt by something that's absolutely not fucking Snapple facts? Everybody, white people, black people, everybody knows for a fact, all the history books, whether they've been rewritten, whether they're fake, everyone knows that slavery wasn't a choice. So how can you make such a statement that's not true and everybody gets so upset by it? So this is my whole point.
Why say it?
I think you're giving people too much credit.
Huh?
I think you're giving people too much credit.
What do you mean?
About the slavery not being a choice. You got white people that are still don't believe whiteness is like a fucking benefit in life.
There's white people that believe white privilege doesn't exist.
That's what I'm saying. And you're going about the way they're taught in school. They're not really taught that. They're not really taught much.
So
about
question.
slavery
So okay. So are you guys more mad at what he said or the fact that he said it? Can I ask you that because that's defining.
No. I'm not mad.
What's the most annoying thing about what he said? Am I a little
annoyed at the level of ignorance behind it and the fact that he has such a huge voice in pop culture and in society to where, it's like once again, like Jay said, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to put that kind of, whether you are playing, joking, serious, whatever it is, that is just dangerous rhetoric to put out there. Because there are people till this day who are living through the history of slavery. You understand what I'm saying? There are people who still can't find their family tree because
right.
of slavery.
I get it. So again, I don't know. Do you know what it is? I feel like it's just it's a personality thing. Like, to me, I don't really see the point in being mad at it, as opposed to if you genuinely feel like he said something and he's misinformed, then I feel like out of love you should educate him. Like, I'm sorry, it's just the whole media thing.
Oh yeah, Van Lathan did that.
No, but let me fit. No, for real. Everybody.
I think Van Lathan did a great job.
Say that again.
I think Van Lathan did a great job.
Yeah, but everybody else is just mad. Look, people talk shit in their apartments. People talk shit on the phone. When you're a celebrity,
the response?
Hell yeah, I saw that response.
Did you feel that?
I felt it.
Did you feel that?
I felt it.
Because I felt that shit in my soul.
I definitely felt it.
I felt
you know,
not only his anger, I felt
his
his pain.
I felt his pain.
Like, what are you doing right now?
I felt it. I just, you know what it is? Listen, there's two sides to every coin. I'm sorry. There's two sides to every coin for me personally. As much as he said something really, really crazy, remember, I study psychology. I can't take stuff for face value. If you say something like that, I hate it. I love it. Why did you say it? Less dialogue. Like, to me, everybody being mad by bashing Kanye this, Kanye that, but you're still going to go and buy his album. And when he releases his new fucking clothing line, you're probably still going to buy that. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, to me, the way I feel is that if somebody makes a statement that's that crazy, if you feel like they believe what they said, you need to understand why he said something like that. You need to be like, okay, what? Are you the only person who thinks like this? Is this a whole train of thought? Wow, what if there's a whole bunch of people thinking this way? Now we need to have real dialogue. The whole thing is, I'm not for the bashing and for Kanye this and Kanye, because he's a celebrity, and I've seen people tear down celebrities for less. So it's just, I kind of sit on the fence with this one a little bit, only because of the fact that I can see the shock value is more important right now than any message that he was trying to say. So no, it doesn't matter whether he was going to make an extremely amazingly valid point afterwards. The fact that he made that statement and he shot himself in the foot to an extent by doing that, even if he does have valid points, nobody's going to want to hear it. And even me trying to explain a couple of valid points, you don't even want to hear it because you can't get past the fact that Kanye West said this. Can I ask you a
question? No, I could get, no. To me, it's not about
because he's got a responsibility.
For me, no.
Because
for me, it's not about who said it. It's about where he said it and the platform he said it on. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's bigger for me than a person that said it.
I mean, a celebrity is a celebrity. So anybody who, let me ask you,
was there a point to that though? You feel like there was a point to that statement?
What, for him? I feel like he had a point as far as he's concerned. Otherwise, he wouldn't say it. But what I'm
like he had a point. I'm sorry, not to cut you off.
When you say a point, you mean a point? Meaning, do I think that he was right about it?
You would no.
I don't think he's right about it.
Basically, say he might have had another point to the statement. Is there a point at all to saying something like that?
No. See, this is my whole thing. I didn't say he had a point to the statement. I'm not saying that his statement was valid. Okay. His statement is not a fact. Like, we all know slavery was not a choice. So his actual statement itself, if you want to be mad at it, what are you mad at? Are you mad that he said it? Are you mad? Everybody's mad, but I feel like people are mad for the wrong reasons. We're mad because it's Kanye West and you have a big platform, so you shouldn't have said it because you should have been responsible. But it still doesn't go back to what he was actually saying.
I just
so
feel
to
like
me,
certain things shouldn't be said at all. To be honest with you,
right?
From any, especially something like that shouldn't be said at all from any person that has colored skin. Period. Because we know how deep the struggle is, and those people sacrificed for us to be here. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something I don't think we pay homage to enough. The amount of black people that sacrificed and laid their lives down for us to sit on this fucking couch today behind these mics and have this conversation. What they went through for us to even get here. Now, let's say they all would have just laid down and fought in the beginning. Would we even be sitting here?
I mean, there's different. Okay, at the end of the day, again, it comes back to me saying that the whole statement itself, it's offensive, and it's like sometimes you know what to do to push people's buttons. Like, I may know your weak spot, and I know I can push your weak spot.
Did his mother teach like black some sort of class at school regarding
I think she was an English. She did English, and
but she also like
African American.
Yeah, like she taught like African American studies or something like that. Yeah, like. Like, it's kind of crazy to hit, like, dog. Like.
Which is why, you know what? Which is why it's the shock value of it. It's just not, there's no point in even trying to have any further dialogue until people actually ready to see if he had any other point other than what he said. It don't really matter because people can't get past the shock value. It's like if I know that you have a weak spot or you have something that I could trigger you with, I know once I trigger you with it, I trigger you and there's no...
Elijah, you gotta remember, at that time, he was doing... I was about a 45-minute hour talk he had at TMZ. He was shooting off the hip at that point.
Oh, no, but the thing is, I mean, when he was talking at TMZ, of course it was inappropriate, and it was crazy that the fact that he even addressed the whole stuff the way he did. Fair enough. I do feel like he made some valid points. I can't even be bothered to go into the valid points because there's no point. It's going to fall on deaf ears because of the fact that his initial statement just cancelled out anything he had to say. So that's it. The whole point is he made that crazy ass statement. So anything he had to say afterwards, whether it was valid or not, or whether there was any, how do I explain this? Even when he was talking to Charlemagne, he was talking about like a thought process that he was going through. Again, not saying that it was right that he said it at all.
It's crazy because you're having the most hard time defending him right now I've ever seen.
I'm not trying to defend. The thing is, I'm not trying to defend him. What I'm saying is that there's no point trying to defend him because everyone's so mad at something that he said that's not actually even true and that we all know isn't true. So it's like somebody says something to you and you know it's not true. You know that for somebody to say something that crazy, it's either got to be crazy or there's got to be an agenda. There's got to be... But I just feel like no one can get past the outrage of a statement that's not true. And that to me is like kind of weird. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the way I think. I just think he said something that's crazy and I understand it. Can we get to the comma? Can we get to the... Slavery was a... Let me not even repeat it before we start.
Did you read the tweets? I think you need to go and read the tweets.
I did.
Oh, you read the tweets?
I read the most important tweet was the 400 years of slavery was a choice.
He was basically saying at some point during slavery, we had the strength to gang up and break out of the chains, and that we were mentally enslaved.
Well, this is the thing.
To where we didn't feel like we could leave.
Well, this is the thing. So this is the thing. So no, I don't necessarily agree with that. I know mental enslavement is a real thing. Like if mental slavery, no.
As if we weren't digging underground passages to the north.
But what I'm saying is mental slavery is a real thing. Like you to enslave somebody, you have to break them down. You know what I'm trying to say? You have to break them down. At the end of the day, let's not get it twisted. Let me let you know that
taxes at the door.
Let's not get it twisted. At the end of the day, I do understand that there's so many of those slaves who felt like they would want to commit suicide and want to kill themselves because they felt like if they killed themselves, they would, die and ascend with their ancestors. But white people would say, okay, you want to kill yourself? Well, we're going to burn your ashes, so you're not going to rise and be with your ancestors. So I know that it's not as simple as just saying, oh, actually, I choose to be free today, so I'm going to be free. I'm not agreeing with... I'm not agreeing with... I'm not agreeing with...
Like we had that option.
Yeah, so I'm not agreeing... Look, let's make this clear. I'm not agreeing with his statement at all.
Which makes the statement, not to cut you off a lot, what makes the statement slavery is a choice is utterly more like but it makes it even more stupid when the fact like you could just wake up one day and act like you have the option to be free. Like
that's my whole point though. It's like the shock, it's the shock value. I could say something to get your attention and that might not be what I'm trying to get your attention for. I'm not saying he was right in doing it. Yo, what I'm trying to
Brandon,
say...
you grab a mic for him, please? Yeah. Right, I'm sorry. I'm here.
Yeah, like I'm not. Again, like let's make this very clear. Hey, honey, how you doing? Yeah. So don't ever think I'm trying to defend him in his statement. I don't agree that slavery was a choice because everybody knows for a fact, it's factual that it wasn't a choice. So it's like me. Yeah, go on. What Todd's want to say? Something.
No. Let me get JC in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, help Peso. He don't need help because you guys already agree with each other.
You know what it means? We've been going back and forth. I just want to get JC in.
It seems like I need more help, but anybody who's going to try and understand, understand Kanye a little bit will need help.
Why do you always do that? Why you make it we ganging up with? I hear you. Like I sat here and listened to everything you said.
Do you know what though? I knew it was going to be tough though. I knew it because I know everyone's so mad at Kanye right now that even it don't matter what he say, like even if he says something so sensible. no one's gonna hear it and no one's gonna see
She
it.
said, go ahead, JC for help. Like, go ahead.
And that's my whole point. It's like, at the end of the day, every conversation about Kanye West is pointless right now. He made that statement. That is all that everybody can see.
I appreciate the conversation. That's one thing I can say I did take from it. I appreciate him even bringing up this conversation.
But this is my whole point. He's not like Kanye West is Kanye West. I'm sorry, but everybody used to call him a genius until he makes that statement, and now he's not a genius. Like, people are fickle. We support people until we don't support them. The same Kanye West, you know what I mean? The same Kanye West who we were all praising and be like, yeah, I don't got to go to college. Kanye West did it. Oh, yeah, I don't want to. Everybody, like, he had a message from the beginning. And I feel like he's been consistent in being Kanye.
JC said that's still his man. JC didn't abandon shit. That's still your man, right?
No.
No, because my whole thing is like, no, because it's like, listen, man, like, people evolve, right? People grow. You know, like Kanye has evolved into something that I don't recognize anymore. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't sit there and just be like, oh, I rock with him just because I've been rocking with him. Like, I evolved as a man, and and where I stand on certain things may not align with what he stands on.
Right.
So no, I don't have to support him anymore if I don't agree with what he says and what he stands on anymore. So, like, I'm not like, it's not like,
so can I ask you
I'm just
something?
going to support him just because.
So can I ask you something? So if he didn't make that initial statement, right, and didn't say anything about like the slavery, but he had worn that hat, that would have been an issue. Fair enough. The Make America Great Again hat.
The hat.
Well, I mean,
or if he didn't make that slavery statement, or didn't wear the hat, but he had said,
what, the other 3 hours worth of stuff? Like gibberish. Like.
Listen, it's cool.
Because he said a lot, like, you know what I mean?
That's my whole point. It's like, he said a lot, but nobody. My whole thing is like nobody can discuss anything other than his initial point, which is why me having a conversation about this is pointless, because the fact that he said slavery was a choice, that's it. No one can hear past that. So there's no conversation. He said slavery was a choice. That's it. Let's blacklist him. F Kanye West. He said X, Y, Z. No trying to understand. Okay.
What other points do you think he made outside of that?
Well,
and not interpreting. I mean, things that he laid out for you and be like, I get it. Because people could say shit. You could you could try to pick it a piece for them and make a claim for them on their behalf.
I think that to me, I feel like it's at the end of the day, it's about an awareness. Him saying slavery was a choice, that was crazy, right? But now he's made you start thinking about choice. Okay, 2018. Oh, okay, well, slavery wasn't a choice, but now we have a choice. So, oh, hell no, XYZ isn't going to happen. XYZ isn't going to happen. It's a train of thought is what I'm trying to get at. It's not, the statement was crazy, but I feel like he's on a certain train of thought, and I can kind of see where he's going with that train of thought. I don't necessarily think he's expressing himself the right way, because if he was media trained, at the end of the day, Kanye West ain't taking Kanye West.
Media trained has nothing to do with it. Like, let's not give him that out. Like, being media trained has nothing to do with it.
Because if he's media trained, he's not gonna. I'm telling you, if he was media trained, he probably would have said the same thing, but would have said it so differently, and everyone would have agreed with the way he said it, because he wouldn't have said it the way he said it. So his points, the other points may have been received a little bit differently. But I just feel like, again, he's not media trained. He's very carefree and just says what he says, how he wants to say it, the way he wants to say it. He doesn't try to polish it. He doesn't try to.
I agree. It was smooth. I like it.
You like what?
The way he said it.
The way he said it.
With it.
Okay, can we put let's put Tox's mic a bit closer to him.
Mike, Tox ain't media trained. He don't even know how to put the mic to him. You know?
Hey man, I'm chilling.
You had said something on Facebook that I thought was valid. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I did think it was valid. You remember?
Yeah, the fear over choice joint.
Yeah, go ahead, say that.
I bet. So people confuse fear with choice. So they saying slavery is not a choice. I mean, of course, choice is not to be captured and taken to another place. We don't say that's their choice. Their choice were to stay slaves. After a while, they had a chance to fight their oppressors.
I mean, the fact that slavery is
over.
over.
Delve deeper into it, because you felt like we had the strength in numbers.
No, we had the strength for numbers, but it's just that we ain't have the mindset. They already trapped our minds.
Jay, can I
That's
get a
my
rebuttal?
point.
Hold on, Jay. What's your rebuttal to that?
The only place that has strength in numbers in regards to slavery is Haiti, and that's when they had the revolt and they had their families close by, so they had the language still there. They still was able to communicate. They were able to overthrow them. That's when the Louisiana Purchase happened. That's when shit got shut down in the States. and that all the slave masters found out about it. So a rebellion at that point was not happening.
And they had
trust me.
and,
like, I read
and they
this,
had the
trust me.
weaponry.
So can I
All
ask
right,
you
but you
something?
got-
And they had
gotta-
laws. Like it's all this
so-
shit. All
so
these
why-
structures are around.
How-
you.
so how
why
comes
we got
with-
so many Killmonger fans and not Kanye fans when he said the exact same thing just in a different way? Like
I don't
it's
even know
pretty
who that
much-
is, to be
It's,
honest.
He's
it's
talking
pretty much
about,
the same
Black
thing.
Panther,
Like
Killmonger.
they say, people scared
That's
of.
the dude who said, "I would rather die."
Yeah, jump in. Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
people
but-
confusing choice with the
Thank
the fear
you.
of consequence, the
Thank
fear,
you.
the fear of the consequences that come after that choice. So they had a choice to fight and die.
So you say at a certain, you're not saying in the beginning. You're saying at a certain point.
at
though.
a certain, of course, it's not a choice to become a slave, but
Right.
you had a choice to stay a slave. You feel me?
You
That's
had a
where the
choice to kill. You could die. Like some people would probably
It's
like,
death
I ain't gonna
before
be a
dishonor.
slave.
It's a
I'd
lot of
rather
people
die
who
than
would
be a
die before
slave.
becoming a slave.
I'm
becoming
with
a slave.
y'all.
that's the
I
choice.
preach sacrifice all the time. Like you gotta be willing to die for something or stand for nothing. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta be willing to die for something to live for nothing.
So can we
You
talk
understand
about
what
how
I'm saying? I
slavery was
totally get
ended,
that.
though?
Hold on, let me finish my point though.
Okay.
But at that, you gotta remember, at that time when we're just now understanding where we didn't even know where the fuck we were at.
It don't matter if they say
Like,
we
when
were
we got
animals.
here?
If they say we were animals, then animals fuck shit up.
Right.
It don't matter. It don't matter if we know if you know you being oppressed and you know you being belittled and you know something is wrong. Then even
And
a
you're
dog
being-
know. Even a dog know when they getting bullied by their owner. You know, like like people know. So you can't say just because they just got here they don't know how shit work. Nah, you know if somebody fucking you over or not. Anybody understand that? Animals, even babies understand that. Like shit, you know when somebody doing something wrong to you. So they had a choice. Their choice was to stay slaves and hope for a better tomorrow. And I'm not saying that's the wrong choice.
I don't agree with that. I can't agree with that.
That's what it was. It
I
was
don't
this-
believe anybody at that time. I don't believe any black African was holding on to hope at that time. I'm sorry.
Every song was about hope.
Like,
Every
okay.
fucking
What?
slavery song was about hope. It
Faith
was
is what
all
keep 'em-
about hope
faith is
that
what
we
kept 'em
was
going.
gonna become,
Right.
that we
Gonna
was gonna
be
become
free.
equal one day. That we was gonna stand next to them and everybody was gonna understand one another. No,
That was
niggas-
from them house niggas. You
Huh?
understand what I'm saying? Because you remember, there was house niggas and there was field niggas. That
Field
was the
niggas
front
was
of them
thinking
house
the same
niggas.
thing.
No, field
If
niggas.
field
No.
niggas wasn't thinking that, then they would have been fighting.
So Harriet Tubman was a house nigga?
No.
But she made a choice, though. So
And her
she
choice
made a
was
choice
real.
to do something.
She could have
so
died
you
for
guys
her
can't
choice.
take away
And that's
choice.
the thing I'm saying. She chose it and she didn't die for it. It's other people who could have chose other outlets. If you had that woman choose that, then what's stopping every other man from choosing something?
Look how many black people literally died for the fight. They all, trust me, the sacrifice was being made. We just don't talk about it.
But they
You
chose
understand
to
what I'm
fight.
saying? That's
There's a lot
just
of people who
that's
chose
just not
to fight,
that's just
though.
what they don't put in the history.
So can I
books.
ask you something though? So as far as like slavery, becoming abolished, did what and educate me and educate people who maybe don't know, like how did that come about? Did it just come about one day? Literally, white people just got to the point where they're like, you know what? We're just gonna set you guys free. We're bored.
No.
We don't need your help anymore. Or did they do it because people chose no longer to stay in that situation and started fighting back and started movements and individuals as well as people collectively started.
It was just a power
What's your day,
struggle.
Jay?
That's it. There
Why
was no
slavery
revolution.
ended
It
for
was
real?
nothing.
I mean, and I've been trying to study more in the Civil War, but it was economics. Like,
That's it.
that's literally all it was about. It wasn't the goodwill of anybody. It wasn't the goodwill of Abraham Lincoln and all that bullshit they teach you. It wasn't that. He was trying to deport people. He was trying to send black people to Africa, to Liberia. So
It was to get us to where we are now.
And
That's exactly what it is.
honestly, it was the evolution of the times. After 400 or so years, or whatever amount of years we were enslaved, the landscape just changed to
Nah,
where
it's not the land, it's
the
the
lands.
format.
Listen, the landscape changed so much that slavery wasn't conducive financially. You understand what I'm saying? To what America wanted to do.
yeah.
You feel me?
Of course.
But because you understand, abolishment of slavery caused more employment of white people, because then you needed jobs to watch over black people. Police were literally created to watch over black people. You understand what I'm saying? So he's right. It was a financial reason for it. It ain't like they just woke up one day and just said, we going to be nice and let the niggas go. Nah. It just didn't make sense no more.
They just found the new delivery. That's it.
There
it's
you go.
subtle. It's subtle now. They figure, hey, we could gain more by making them think. See, freedom is not. It's,
You know how
it's
many
just
white?
It's just a concept.
Think about it. How many white officers today tell a story of how their great 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 grandfather was a cop? You hear that story all the time.
Yeah.
It's a lineage thing. Like, look how many people were employed by black people, even as far back as then. Like, we forget that, the civil rights movement was literally 40 years ago. Like, it wasn't that long ago. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, that shit was like right there in the 60s, in the 50s and the 60s. Like, we tend to forget, but I think, like I said, when you make such an inflammatory statement, you slap the face of so many people who sacrificed for us to be here today, yo.
And if that's what it take to wake niggas up, then fuck
That's
it.
okay.
Did it wake niggas
we
up,
need to be sitting
Yeah.
on the same
Because
side.
they got niggas riled
Talking
up thinking
about it.
what it is.
Thank
They got
you.
niggas actually thinking like, yo, am I actually in a fucked up situation? But people still don't understand that we still pretty much slaves. Like, he just
Thank
letting
you.
us
Oh my
know.
gosh,
He
yes.
just letting us know. It's
You
just
couldn't say that 20
it's
minutes
just,
ago?
It's just a different
I
treatment.
tried to say it in my own way. I tried to say it in my own way, but I needed help
Switch your
apparently.
style up.
But
You
that's what
can't
I'm trying to
use the
say.
same style.
Because that's my whole point. Is like to me, it's just the whole thing of him bringing choice to light again. Choice is a real thing. So it's like, as much as we don't feel like slavery was a choice and we know it wasn't a choice, the whole point is now we're talking about choice and we're still living in a time that ain't so easy for everybody. So now we know choice is something that we can play with. So now we can choose to do more technically.
But the divide and conquer is still
If
back
we
then is still
come
relevant
together,
today.
if we communicate, if we have the right dialogue.
It is.
Right, think about
It
it.
is.
When did you hear how that TMZ room erupted when black on black crime was brought up? The whole room went crazy. Like, you heard everybody yelling about it, yo. Like, it was like one, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, damn, we can't. The reason why we can't get further because we could never agree.
But the thing
You
is,
know what I
black
mean?
on black crime, that's a statement that should be killed. Because what do you call white on white crime?
I agree with that.
It's
like,
just crime.
But like it don't like
It's just
and then
crime.
people act like it don't exist. But that's the ignorance of it. But here's the thing though, even deeper
That's
than that.
division. That's where you cause division by
the-
making us think there's such
crime-
thing
I
as
mean, it's
black on black
proximity
crime.
as well. It's
There you
proximity
go.
as well. Let's be real.
There you go.
If I'm
Crime
one
is
black
a
person,
proximity
Yeah.
thing. It's not a race thing.
No, of course,
If you live around nothing but fucking black people, then the fucking percentage of the crime that happens in their area is going to be against other fucking. Yo, are we slow or no? Like,
But people don't understand that.
like
Some people
But
are
people
what
don't
the fuck?
understand that.
Like,
When they throw the black on black shit out there, and that's what caused the division. Because everybody
is-
want to talk
this
about,
is-
oh, well, we need to stop talking about police beating us and talk about the black on black crime. Stop that shit. We can't stop that shit because it's just crime.
let me tell you
We
something.
just live
yeah?
around black people, so it's just crime. When
Right,
white people
right.
burglarize other people's house, white people's house, they call it crime. They don't say white on white
Or
crime,
you
Caucasian crime.
ever peep how America
Caucasian
try to
crime.
act like there's
I like
not
that,
poor white
Caucasian
people? Like, anybody ever peep that? How America tries to like turn a blind eye as if there's not poor white people? As if as they quote unquote white trash don't exist?
No, that's because we live in New York, though.
But I feel like that's the one thing that nobody ever talks about. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's poor white people all across this nation. You understand what I'm
They
saying?
label
Like,
them middle class.
and don't get it twisted. I understand white people by far surpasses in terms of resources and finances. What I'm saying is, like she said, it's a proximity thing. It's about financial and financial resources and the proximity of the area you're in. That's what crime targets. It's a very simplistic view that a lot of people just have a hard time like comprehending. You understand what I'm saying?
Everybody
Like,
want to follow the wave. If they see a bunch of people jumping on this wave, they gonna back it without knowing not a fucking thing about it.
Yeah. But you know what? Look, this is the whole thing. Like, I understand why everybody's so mad at Kanye to an extent. I understand because what he said was very, very shocking.
It's not
At
what
the
you
end of the
say,
day,
it's how you say it. You
yeah.
said
Because
fucked
to
up.
me, to be honest with you, I still feel like it's his delivery that everybody's having an issue with. Because again, if he had said it differently, if he had media training or if he had some coaching, I promise you,
He said it
he
like
could have made
Kanye
his
should
same
say it,
points,
so.
but differently. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because he's talking about the economy as well, like our economy as black people as well. Like, it's the same stuff that I always talk about. It's like, we have to grow our own economy so we can choose.
what was he saying? Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, like on the TMZ thing, you guys are just remembering the bad points, but nobody heard him speak about love. Nobody heard him speak about. But these are real things to me, though. Like it's.
Fuck love.
But this is the whole point. It's like you gotta be coming from a certain train of point to really, really to even want to be bothered to deal with the type of stuff that he's talking about. But he's talking about love. Okay, we've been through slavery.
Did she
we've been
just like shit on our train of thought just now, like low
I
key?
don't know.
Like, she
I'm
said
not
you gotta
exactly
be from a
looking to
certain
Kanye
train of thought. Like, did she just like slick throw a
Nah, 'cause
shot
it's
just there?
people who think that love is like really a powerful thing.
Let's
like,
get into the whole Trump thing. Another thing that stood out, because I don't want to keep spinning
That's
the
what
circles on
I'm talking about. Love. I mean, he's telling us to love Trump,
right, that's what I'm saying. Let's segue into that. He said that, we tried hating Trump. So let's try combating him with love.
So listen, this
Right?
is all right. I'm
Should
sorry
we
to cut you off.
befriend thy known enemy?
Okay, so listen. All right. So this is the last thing I'm going to say about this, right?
Right.
So you have an enemy, right?
Right.
You're over there. I'm over here. We hate each other. We don't agree with each other. I'm right. You're wrong. You're wrong. Whatever the case may be.
Right, absolutely.
We ain't going to be able to impact each other. If you hate me, I hate you. I don't understand you. You don't understand me. There's never all there is ever going to be is friction and tension and hate, unless, and I'm not saying he did a good thing by wearing that hat. That's nothing to do with me. What I'm saying though is that he said in his Charlemagne interview that he went and he spoke to Trump, and the first thing he started speaking about was Chicago. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Him wearing that hat was crazy, of course, but it opened up room for dialogue. Sometimes people fear what they don't understand, and sometimes you have to be the bigger person. I'm not saying Kanye's being the bigger person, but sometimes you have to dumb yourself down a little bit to be able to get onto the other side, to be able to start dialogue. I promise you, nothing will ever change, and it's just going to be hate on hate on hate on hate on hate on hate on hate. Hate Trump as much as you want, but yeah, fucking wear his hat and go and sit down and talk to him and make some changes in Chicago if that's what it's going to take. Again, I'm not necessarily saying in that order or that method, but I do understand how you hating somebody and you being mad at somebody and you just holding on to the bad history. I see how that just continues the cycle going on and on and on and on and on. And this could be another 400 years and we could still be having the same conversation. Yeah, I don't like you, Trump. However, I will sit in your White House with you and we will talk about Chicago and we will get these, these murder rates down. Even if everybody's going to hate me because of it.
He got to invite you first, though. He hasn't invited, Kanye, anybody to the White House, but, that's a whole other thing. I mean, he hasn't invited nobody to come talk to him in the White House. He
doesn't care.
I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm just being honest. He hasn't invited nobody to come talk to him.
for a photo op.
You know what I mean? After he got in office, all of them niggas who went and talked to him in Trump Towers, ask any of them if they've been to the White House.
So can I ask you something? So what's the solution then? What is the solution?
Let me let these two get a word in. I'm going to come back to that, all right?
Okay.
All right, so what's your thoughts on him saying that, we should give Trump a shot, basically? Is
that what he
said? It's not to do with giving Trump a shot. Trump is already president. What are you talking about?
Right, well, so
he's already president, so it's one of those situations where he's president, so you're either going to say, okay, we're just going to continue to be victims of his presidency,
right.
Or we're going to say, all right, you're president, all right, I don't like it, but
yeah,
I'm gonna come and see what you're talking about, and I'm gonna see if I can say something to you that can make some type of difference or make some type of change. Everybody just wants to be passive, and that's how I feel. I feel like Kanye to an extent is being a little bit proactive. I'm not saying his method is right.
Shit.
I'm not saying his method is right. I'm not saying his method is right. But at the end of the day,
Kanye's being proactive.
hell yeah, because my whole thing is we wouldn't be. Listen, this conversation today needed to happen. Kanye said the universe told him to do this. I believe him. But quickly, before I finish my point, because this is the last thing I'm going to say. This is the last thing I'm going to say. I think that he's being proactive. I'm not saying that the direction of his proactiveness is right, but I'm saying we wouldn't be having this conversation unless he said what he said. I'm sorry. And at the end of the day, everybody's sitting there being polite, not saying what they really think and being cute, and it ain't doing shit. So yeah, talk your shit, Kanye. The people who don't agree with you won't agree with you. And the people
Kanye
who
West
do
said,
agree,
do you think I'm thinking free right now? Van Lathan said, actually, what I think you're doing is the absence of thoughts. And that was the realest shit. Yo, dog, I don't even think you're thinking right now. Yo,
there's no critical thought there. There's no critical thought there.
But ain't that speaking freely?
that's just somebody not agreeing with somebody else.
Nah, but that's what he said is absolutely true. If he,
I gotta start holding people accountable.
If he don't have no thought, then he's speaking freely.
No.
See, and now you're he's
right. He's right.
No, he's not.
He's right.
The absence of thought is not thinking freely.
No,
There's
because
difference,
but do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Speaking freely.
Do you know
the
what
absence of thought is no. He said, "Do you think I'm thinking freely right now?" Oh no, did he say speaking of thinking?
Thinking.
He said thinking. He said
the whole thing was free thought.
Right.
All right,
He said,
scratch
"Do
that.
you think I'm thinking freely right now?" Right. He's basically saying we should. He's basically saying we get too persuaded by society's thoughts that we all need to think for ourselves as individuals.
He's saying that we're controlled by the media. At the end of the day, the media only shows you what they want to show you. I'm sorry, yeah, but there have been cases in the media with black boys dying that have been blown up, and we all know about it, right?
Right.
We can name a few of them. We don't need to do that. That's just a representation of thousands of people that happens to, right? But the media will only allow certain bits of information to be prevalent. And this goes for all of the information that's shown on the news. There's programming. There's a schedule. They know what they're going to show, when they're going to show it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, in the city, down the block, that we do not know about. And that's because at the end of the day, when there's a system, it has to be controlled and it has to be regulated. So yes, I agree. Kanye is right that the media are regulating a lot of information, because at the end of the day, if the whole system was taken over and a whole different media structure came into play, all of the stuff that we're hearing about, they could say, we're never going to hear about any of this stuff. This is our agenda. We're going to show you this stuff instead. And that's what everybody's going to believe. And that's what everybody's going to be aware of. And that's pretty much the way it goes. At the end of the day, we don't control the media. You can control the channel you watch. You can't control what's on the TV. There is a reason why what's on the TV is what's on the TV. There's a reason why what's on the radio is on the radio. This is all, and this is what he's trying to say. And the fact that people can't see past that is what, to me, one of the biggest problems is we're in a matrix. Let me just put it that way.
Jay, do you think he's thinking freely?
Dude. I'm not here to make I don't want to say excuses for him, but I feel like when you gotta fight that hard to try to justify what somebody's saying, they're not saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't make your points for you.
Right?
I'm sorry, dude. Like, if you want to get out here and start talking all crazy, please be able to fucking elaborate and articulate what you want to say. Like, don't have me trying to put it together.
I think that's what he's not doing, though.
But that's my first point. That was my first point, though.
He's not articulating his thoughts.
That was my first point, though, and that's the problem, and that's why we're having this issue. He's not media trained, and you told me, all right,
it's not about media.
It's not that. It's about
finesse.
It's
not about being media trained.
It is.
Are we media trained?
No, but my whole. But can I just say? But can I say something? Because everybody else who says stuff on their platforms, a lot of them are media trained. So Kanye West would have said to his publicist, I'm about to write this on social media. She would have said, no, don't write that. Instead, write a deep quote on free will and choice and how it can...
Being media trained has nothing to do with being able to articulate your own thoughts, yo.
Yeah, no, but even if
it has nothing to do with it. We all sit on this platform every week, and we could, like we're doing right now, we could articulate our points to a T. We're not media trained.
Yeah, no, but once you're on that status, once you have that much of a public presence, if you're not media trained, then your thoughts are going to be detrimental, as we can see. So yeah, it is important.
I think he's dead serious. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
He is. The thing is, he is serious, but serious about what though? Serious that slavery was a choice?
This is just
that's my whole point. Is that
you gotta understand?
This is my whole point.
This is him as a person, though.
Right.
This is him as a person. What he say is not supposed to get.
This hasn't always been him, though.
Huh?
This hasn't always been him.
No, but as he said, he came back a new person. So at watching how he move and watching how he talk, you pick up certain things. So what he's saying is not supposed to give you direct information.
Right.
You got to also remember.
It's a trigger.
Listen. You got to also remember. And I want to make this point too, man. I'm mad I left this out all the time. Like Van Lathan said, he's talking from a place to where the repercussions behind the things he say will never have no effect on him. He's not on ground level with the rest of us. You understand what I'm saying? He's never going to have to deal with the things that the majority of black, especially black men, are going to have to deal with in this country.
I agree to an extent. I agree to an extent.
About Kanye than Van Lathan's
right. No, but I agree to an extent. But this is the thing, though. I agree to an extent, but this once again to me is the matrix, and this is This is scary to me. That
Like,
you,
I'm
no. That you think that once you get listen now, because I gotta finish this point. This is serious. This is serious.
That's serious.
No, this is serious because to me, what's scary is you think that once you become rich, people aren't going to be racist towards you. He still experiences racism. He lives in fucking Calabasas.
Yeah.
What? Are you
Yeah.
kidding? Did you think that LeBron James experienced racism? No, I'm sorry. I'm not going for this.
Little Wayne said he doesn't. Little Wayne said racism doesn't exist.
Forget Lil Wayne right now. He's an alien. Lil Wayne says he's an alien.
No,
so that's
I think that's
he
a
looks
fact.
like
Yeah,
so, right. He does. So we're not going to use him
That
as
was
an
a bad
example.
point, right?
No.
She put it into perspective. She said right. That is true.
Okay, so my point
You
is.
know how rich black people feel racism with money. They let you know they got
No.
money and power
Listen.
than you.
No. Understand what I'm
That's
saying.
the racism.
Understand when you've been in a place for so long. You understand what I'm saying? As a Kanye West, when he's been rich the majority of his life. You understand what I'm saying? Same thing with a Lil Wayne, even though he says he's an alien. But he's been rich the majority of his life. Like Lil Wayne was a star at 12 years old. He's been in fucking 5-star hotels like the majority of his life and shit. So you've never had to deal with what a Philando Castile, a Oscar Grant, a Trayvon Marley, a Marley Graham. You ain't never had to deal with the kind of harassment and getting your life taken away the way they had to.
Right.
Yeah.
You've never been in that position. When the cops pull you over, you roll down your window, they ask you for a fucking picture and an autograph.
So you know what? I agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree.
it's
Who
a
has
difference.
the best view though?
I agree.
The person watching though, you could see, like he could see it though. Even though you could see it from up top. If you could see it from up top, why not talk about it?
No, that's not true. I don't believe. I don't agree with that. Cause sometimes you're so. Listen, there's our world, and then there's the world that we'll, God willing, we'll see one day if we get there. But right now, we're not seeing it right now. Like they're in such when that industry shit, it really is its own world, dog. They're so detached from reality that it's a shame.
But can I ask you something? So this is what I'm trying to understand. So with Kanye,
That's
right?
why they move on key points.
With
They don't
Kanye,
talk about specifics. They give key points.
with Kanye, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but what I got from his interview with Charlemagne is that he's actually saying, no, we need our own. To me, I felt like he is pro-black. I'm sorry. Outside of that original statement, that's why I said there's no point of me having this conversation because no one can get past that statement. So maybe in 5 years, then we can look at the rest of his points. But what he said initially is what everybody's discussing. You don't know that he, what is it? He was talking about the fact that he wants to be an owner. He was talking about the struggles that he went through actually with his with the Yeezy stuff, and he wasn't getting royalties, and they wouldn't let him.
Yeah, with Nike, he wasn't getting royalties. Yeah.
Right, he wasn't getting royalties, and he was talking about the fact that because of that, it's important for us to have our own economy. It's important for us to have our own stuff. It's important for us to have our own fashion houses. And to me, it all relates to the same.
Then he went and signed with a white conglomerate right after that.
So you have to understand, Kanye, one of the people
I think Kanye, not to cut you off, my brother, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think Kanye desperately wants the approval of white upper echelon society. I think he genuinely wants that. Like he says, he has never in his life said he wants to be the next black person. He's never said, I want to be the next Malcolm X. I want to be the next Fred Hampton. I want to be the next Rosa Parks.
No, he
he's
did.
Said,
I'm sorry. He related himself.
Said, I want to be the next Walt
That's
Disney.
not true. Yeah.
I want to be the next.
I want
to be the next. What's the guy from Apple?
He's influential.
Huh? I want to be the next Steve Jobs. He's always named white people that he want to be the next.
But the thing is, this is the thing that's okay because he's trying to. That's okay because he's trying to say I want to be the black version of those people. That is aspiring. Like I can't.
He can't be the next.
You don't want to be the black version of yourself. Like what the fuck? You want to be the black version of a white man?
No, but the equivalent to have that much power to have. Listen, he was okay. This is the whole thing here. I know he made some statements about Obama as well in Chicago, which of course the same way it rubbed everybody else the wrong way. Rubbed me the wrong way too. He was saying that what did he say? Like Obama was a band-aid.
Obama was in he said Obama was in office for 8 years, didn't do nothing.
No, but outside of that,
said, Obama was in office for 8 years and nothing changed.
No, but outside of that, what he also said was that he feels like Obama was a band-aid. Okay, so when he said that, this is one of the points where I'm not saying I agree or don't disagree, but this is one of the points where I'm like, okay, if you know the whole thing with Obama, a black president becoming. A black man becoming the president, that was such a big deal. sometimes there's certain things that can be done as distractions. I'm not agreeing necessarily with him, but I do feel like there's some things that can be done as distractions. So we can all be like, okay, we have a black president now. This is great. This is great. This is great.
You believe this country wanted a black president for 8 years?
What?
You believe this country? Listen to the question.
Right.
You believe this country wanted a black man in that house for 8 years? The first 4 I can see. First of all, I can say, all right, it was a ruse, it was a ploy, it was a gaffle. But what about the second term? Because he got reelected after that. What do you think? They wanted him in office for 8 years?
I think he was.
It's not about. You didn't even let me finish my point yet.
Go ahead. Finish your point.
It's like, okay, I can say, oh, we have a black president in America. Oh, okay, we have a black president. Everything's great now. Everything's great. Even if stuff was actually declining. For some people, just the fact that we have a black president is enough for them to be like, no, I'm American. I'm proud to be American. We have a black president. We're progressing. If you're not looking into all of the, if you're not deep in politics or you don't know exactly what's really, really, really going on, you could just see a black president as being a great thing when you don't know that could be actually detrimental to our development because it could be a Band-Aid. And that's one of the points that he was making. It's like, are you looking at all of the policies? Are you looking at all of the stuff that was actually changed? Are you looking at the actual progress that was made? I feel like Obama made a lot of progress. But again, this is a conversation that needs to be had because you had Obama and then you had Donald Trump. So to me, Obama being a president for 8 years, but then you get Donald Trump next shows me that to an extent, yeah, it kind of was a Band-Aid because they could not wait to get the exact opposite. The country could not wait to get the exact opposite in presidency, which to me means, okay, yeah, maybe that 8 years was a Band-Aid a little bit because those people just couldn't wait to come back and show us what they really were. And now we're seeing Donald Trump representing a lot of America as far as I'm concerned.
And we got to remember, Obama wasn't the president of Chicago, for the record.
He wasn't the president.
Let's like remember that. Like there is a whole,
of course,
there's a whole political and legislative branch that goes through Chicago that really has nothing to do with the president of the country.
Of course.
So let's keep that in mind. You know what I mean?
I agree with that
like
part.
that. Yet another ignorant statement he made. But okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
I just think, do you know what it is? I feel like at the end of the day, Kanye, he's made so many. I feel like his delivery has defeats him to a certain extent. I kind of see a few valid points that he has, and I feel like if somebody else said it, you don't want to say anything to do with media training. So let's just say if somebody else said it if stuff was said in a more tactful way.
I don't disagree with nothing, man.
JC said he's not down with Kanye no more. He lost a fan.
Okay, well he gained one over here.
He gained a fan. You a new fan now?
I mean, I fucked with the Heartless song.
People don't want to.
You a new fan now?
You gotta go through the fire to get the diamonds, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, you gotta go through like diamonds go through pressure. You know what I mean? To get a diamond, you gotta go through heat. You gotta go through pressure. We just want shit easy. We ain't gonna get shit easy. We gotta face our demons to an extent.
I like it. Yeah, look at you. I like that. Yeah, you really playing. I like it.
Oh. Maybe I need to fall back. She better give me some of that freaking easy.
I don't know, man. That's right. But yeah, it brought light to a situation. You feel me? That's all he.
Like I say, he sparked a conversation that wasn't being had.
That's all he wanted.
And that might have been the underlying genius that is Kanye West.
This is my point. You guys, come on, stop it. This is my point. How are you? Can I say something though? Like this is my point. Is you guys? You're letting someone get under your skin. Yeah.
He was saying some stupid shit, yo. I'm not gonna.
I think that. Listen.
Thank you.
Out of everything he said, I feel like the dumb shit definitely trumped the good shit. I'm sorry. He said some outrageous shit, yo. Like not even like just straight up.
You gotta say something dumb now
to get people's attention. Yes. Thank you. Yes, he does. But that's his style anyway.
He been doing that since he started.
Nigga. He put no nigga.
George Bush don't like black people.
Nigga. He sells t-shirts t-shirts with holes in them for $500. What are you talking about?
Get that bread. How could you hate on him?
Listen to my point.
But he had a reason for doing that.
Listen to my point. My point is, He don't have to do crazy. He don't have to say crazy shit to get his point across. He don't have to do that.
No, but sometimes you have to, cause listen,
he don't.
Hey, bro, I work in theater.
He
so
don't.
Like people say subliminals that just get you thinking, bro. It's just something to spark conversation, to spark something in the back of your mind. I say something the total opposite of what you believe to get you thinking, and all I did was spark what I wanted in your head. I'm gonna talk the opposite just to implant a thought in your head. That inception shit is real. It's just by talking the opposite, bro.
Absolutely,
and that's what he did.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, he has a big enough voice in the game to where his music alone is gonna get things going.
Music don't work no more when you got little.
His music does.
Nah, niggas don't care about that shit no more. All niggas is listening to that dumb shit. They not
it's, all right, let me ask you this: is who?
Lil Uzi.
Okay. Yeah, I know you just shit on Lil Uzi. You know what I mean? Shout out to Lil Uzi. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want. We've been ranting about this for a minute. I want to say this though, right? This is the thing about influence, and this is why I hate influence today, and this is why I hate that we are in the most impressionable era ever, because influence is the most dangerous thing alive today, because it will literally have people walking into the fire without even knowing they're walking to the fire, literally because they're following somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, this term influencer, I didn't hear this term until about 3 years ago. I never even I've growing up in the night, I never heard that term before. Nobody was an influencer, and nobody had that label before. Like, what the fuck is that? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so, and I hate that, and that's why it's so dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? Because, you know, the blind are leading the blind nowadays. You understand what I'm saying? Like, seriously. And that's the problem we're going through. And that's why so many things are so fucked up, especially for black people. Because the leadership are people who don't even know that they're leaders. You feel me? Like, they don't even understand the magnitude of what they're doing. So, you know, that's my problem with it, man.
The system that's in place, you can't be a positive leader, though. He can't just come out and say, like,
where were you earlier?
We need to take over.
Where were you earlier? I needed you.
We are in some vital. Listen, we are in some vital. Do we know that racism is building every day all around us? Like, is that understood right now? Like, do we know the Ku Klux Klan is literally like gaining new members every day right now?
They already said they don't need
no. Then they're actually gaining power. Right under our noses.
They got all the power they need because we ain't got.
Like, do we know niggas are still getting lynched in certain places right now? Do we know niggas are getting dragged behind trucks in certain places right now?
I'm saying,
do we know the cops are being called on black people every day for bullshit? Of course. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so we are in some crazy times right now to where certain shit is just not to be played with. Not now.
It's
like, not right now.
It's just a click. He got a click. Because a lot of people, exactly what you said, people wasn't thinking about before he said that shit.
That's it.
Exactly everything you said, everybody thinking about turning up and clubbing. Nobody was thinking about no slavery shit. Nobody was thinking about what we in today. Right. He said something that had you actually researching what the fuck is going on today.
All lies are shut up.
Let me see what he shut up. Let me see if this nigga know. Because niggas is looking at, like, niggas do research. Like, is Kanye really talking about what he talking about?
Right.
Find out shit. So he got you actually researching shit. So you can actually find out that the world is fucked up. He did what he needed to do. He subliminally did it.
I love it.
Yeah.
You can't do it in the open without being killed or teared down. He know they will tear him the fuck down. Kanye know he is nobody compared to that white man.
So this is just the genius of Kanye West. That's what you're saying. This is just the genius.
This is just the genius of Tox hooking him up. With that fucking sponsorship too, but
Tox trying to get signed to good music. That's what this is all about.
Now I'm not too sure.
That's what this is all about.
I know you got some. You
got a hidden
agenda right now.
Hey, we gotta have it. You gotta do it indirect nowadays.
Oh man,
just like how they try to push that homo agenda indirect.
Right.
Slowly indirect. You gotta tell niggas indirect. Yo, shit is fucked up. But I'm gonna let you think that I'm stupid so you can actually research the problem.
Yeah.
If you think that I'm stupid, everybody want to be smarter than Kanye West. Yo, he don't know what he talking about.
Right.
I'm actually smarter than him.
He
sacrificed. Slavery wasn't that, but he got you fucking looking.
He sacrificed himself.
He put you on the internet. He put niggas in the fucking. He made niggas watch that interview.
Amen.
He got everybody talking about that shit. We still talking about that shit. That shit happened weeks ago.
Hallelujah.
And niggas is still.
No. We only talk because we wasn't here a couple of weeks. That's the only reason why we talking about it.
For real. People are still talking about it.
And he did
got the
what he
Crips
needed
wanting to
do.
beat
He
him
brought
up and
a
all of
subject
that.
wasn't touched for a while. In
Yes.
a situation that we still in, but we
Yes.
don't know.
Yes.
And now niggas
I
can
love
see
it.
it.
I'm
And
all
the
for it.
choice, now the choice is yours. And what niggas gonna choose? We still gonna be stuck. Because niggas is not fucking with Kanye. Because they don't see what Kanye's saying. But he know they don't see what he's saying. That's why he said it like that. Because if he openly say it, niggas is still not going to follow him. And he going to get killed.
Yo, Jay, what's up, man?
I feel you.
Like, where you at with all this, yo?
Get killed. You can't openly say
I don't agree with any of this, but I'm just like, it's just like, all right, man. I'm not here to like. I'm not trying to figure out what that dude's talking.
I got you. Let's get in a break too. We gonna come back with Meek. You know, we gotta get into Meek. The whole, because we wasn't here when. Were we here when Meek came home or no? No, I don't think we was here when Meek came home.
I wouldn't
No.
know for sure.
No, so let's get into Meek. We gonna play Tox. Tox got a joint on here that Give Him Work is on here. We gonna talk about Tox's new single. When we come out, video out now on World Star. Make sure y'all go check it out. We good?
Get at him.
All right, let's get it, y'all. PMG Radio. We'll be right back.
I knew
Put it on the
if there was
speaker.
anybody who would understand. If there was anybody who would understand.
F double shit. Here for a minute, it's our time to go. Hey, feel like this shit is perfect timing, oh. Know that over cold, but you got that fire, though. You had your chance, but now it's all looking quiet, though. Cause I got it.